Hi, and welcome to the Great Awakening podcast. I'm your host, Giselebrun. And today I have a guest who is a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, who's come back on the show to discuss one of the things that she does best. And without further ado, her name is Bridget Finklaire. She's an author, a spiritual teacher, and she's the founder of the Bone Circle. And that's what she's back here to tell us all about. Welcome, Bridget.
Thank you, Gisele. It's so lovely to see you, and it's so lovely to be back. And thank you so much for inviting me back on.
Yeah. Well,
Excited.
listen, without further ado, you have to tell us give us a brief how it happened that you came to create this beautiful, beautiful um, program for people and how it came about and what it is about, if you can.
There's a big question. Okay, I'll try and keep it small. You know how things can go off tangent a bit. I'll try and keep it small. So
Yes.
let's start with the first question. How did it come about? So for many, many years, I don't know how many years, too many years, I'm getting older now. I was a psychotherapist and hypnotherapist on London's Harley Street, dealing a lot with trauma work, and also used to work a lot with energy work because I was also a healer. So I had this kind of whole journey when I lived in London. And by the way, I now live in Cape Town, South Africa, and I moved here 11 years ago. So I gave up that life and that kind of work 11 years ago and kind of decided to move on to coaching rather. So I have this whole background in kind of trauma work, therapy, psychotherapy, and hypnosis. Then I also, parallel to that, had this very powerful, strong spiritual journey that I've been on for, well, I kind of say it really started when my daughter was born, and she's 31. So I've been on this journey for about 30 years, walking this path. And as you know, Gisele, and everybody that's watching in a Great Awakening, all of that was the preparation for the Great Awakening. That was, we were at the coalface, you know, discovering all sorts of things about energy and consciousness and healing modalities and, you know, and quantum physics and entanglement and all sorts of stuff that we would be into on this spiritual journey, like healing the world and wanting to create a better world, and also lifestyle spiritual stuff like meditation and yoga and sacred geometry and dowsing and earth acupuncture, just a whole journey. This went on for years and years. So that I had that behind me. And then I also went to do a training in 2012, which was in England, which was a residential course over 9 months, which taught me how to tap into my intuition. Now, I'd always been intuitive. I'd always got intuitive hits from meditation and from working intuitively. I'm a double Pisces, which apparently makes me highly intuitive. So I'd always had this intuitive side, but this was an actual structure of how to tap in intuitively to what you want to create. And so it was really all about intuition and creating. And from there were a lot of books that I wanted to read around the subject, which I did. So it ended up, I had this kind of lump of stuff that I knew. And I started coaching people one-to-one. So I started coaching people one-to-one. And what I was finding was, it was a little bit of therapy. We had to unhook a few traumas and things from the past, go back into that deep and dark stuff to just bring things to light and be able to be set free from those conditionings, really, and things that happened to us all in childhood. So there was some kind of trauma and therapy work in there. There was some kind of getting people to drink more water or eat organic or whatever it was, you know, recycle, and just very, very basic kind of lifestyle spiritual stuff. And then there was the training them to tap into their intuition and looking at how I could hold the space and coach them into creating stuff. And what happened was, because I'd worked on Harley Street, my fee was quite high and it wasn't really accessible and affordable to most people. So one day I was sitting in a cafe in a place called Constantia, which is in part of Cape Town, with a friend of mine. We used to do burlesque dancing together, because that's another side of me. You know, I used to dance a lot. We did burlesque dancing. And so I was meeting her in this cafe, and we were just kind of getting to know each other, and we were chatting, and she was telling me a bit about her life. And I said to her, you know what, you need to do my coaching with me because I could totally turn your life around. You know, she was a divorced, busy, single mother, career woman, trying to juggle everything. And I just thought, you are prime, prime, prime. She had a little bit of a beginnings of a spiritual journey. And I just said, hey, I could turn your life around with the coaching. But she couldn't afford my fee. She just absolutely did not have the money to afford my fee. So we carried on talking a bit. And on the way home, I was driving home, and I just thought, you know what? She can't afford my fee, but I know 2 or 3 other people who can't afford my fee. And what if, instead of going one-to-one, what if I taught them as a group and they shared the fee? Because I only want the one fee for this time. It doesn't matter, you know, I just want to have some money back for my time. So I thought, if I get 5 people to do it, I'll do this training. And I sent an email out to a few people that I knew, and I got 15 people saying, yeah, we want to do it. So I said, okay, and this was back in 2017. I said, okay, I'm going to teach it. And some of those people were online, and some of them came to my house, and the bone circle evolved. And so it really came from all of that knowledge and understanding as a therapist and a healer and a trauma therapist and an energy worker, all of the understanding of what it is to have a spiritual journey, to awaken, to become aware, to follow soul purpose, to listen to inner guidance, and how will you tap into intuition and create stuff. So it evolved completely from that into something even more, which was quite a magical coming together of these different areas of my life, different passions of mine, different areas of expertise, that just kind of molded together, and it ended up becoming the bone circle. So then that's how it came about. That's how it came about.
Awesome.
And the second question was, what is it? So I think I
Yes.
probably give you a bit of a clue there. So it
Yeah.
works a lot. I work a lot with trinities, because trinities is a higher truth. We live in a duality, which is black and white and night and day and good and bad and powerless and powerful and, you know, war and peace and all light and shade and good and death and life and all of this. And it's a duality, and it's this constant swing between these opposite poles. But the trinity stabilizes. It gives us this triangle that's stable. If you think about a little stool that you would sit on, you can't do a 2-legged stool, but you can do a 3-legged one. So 3 gives us stability. And if we start to look at higher truths, we'll see that they're in trinity. So whether we look at subatomic particles, which there are trinities of subatomic particles, like electron, proton, and neutron are 3 subatomic. In fact, even the quarks and all of those go in 3 sets of 3s. But all the way up to, if you might look at nutrition, there's fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. Or you look at a father and mother and a child. Or you can go right the way up to God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. So from the biggest to the smallest, things that work in trinities are stable and balanced, in alignment, and divinely created. So a lot of the bone circle works on trinity. So one of the trinities is that we're looking at past, present, and future, because the past is always affecting your present, which is always affecting your future, because they're actually all one thing beyond time. We just have to move through time. So imagine it like one of those old DVDs. The whole film is on the DVD all at once, but you have to look at it through time. And our lives are a little bit like that. So you can affect the future and the present by unhooking the past. And obviously I had a lot of experience of that in my sort of 20 odd years as a therapist, seeing people change their lives when they changed things from the past. So it works with the past, it works with the present, which is the lifestyle practice with being fully present, because a lot of people are either in their heads living in the past, worrying about what they should have done yesterday, or why did that happen, or this sad thing that happened last year, or this awful thing that happened to me when I was a teenager at school. Or they're thinking about the past, and that creates a lot of depression, by the way. Or they're thinking about the future, and they're thinking, what should I do tomorrow? Or what will happen when the boss changes at work? Or how am I going to pay the rent at the end of the month? Or whatever it is. Or how am I going to start to get better if they've got a a health journey to go on. So they're thinking about the future, or what's going to happen when I have to give that speech next Friday. So, and when you start to think about the future, you start to get anxious. So we've got anxiety and depression. And this is really feeds into the work of Eckhart Tolle, who's always about the now. Everything in this moment now is fine. There's nothing wrong in this moment right now. So to become fully present is really to be living your life, because moment by moment you're living your life. And if you're always stuck in the future or always stuck in the past or flicking between the two, you're actually missing out on the joy and the beauty of what's here now. So part of a spiritual journey is awakening and raising consciousness and awakening to more and seeing deeper connections and understanding the much bigger picture and why we're all here and who we are and where we've come from. It's about understanding there's more than our five senses. There's more than just this earth. It's not just heaven and earth and hell and you live your life and die and that's the end. That's not actually how it is. There's so much more. I think spirituality is awakening to that and then beginning to embody the spirit, which would be the Holy Spirit, which is the presence of the divine. So to do that, you need to be still and present and in your body and not kind of in your head and thinking about what you're doing tomorrow and have I left the iron on at home. You can't enjoy the beauty of life when you're doing that. So spiritual practice is all about the present moment and how you can embrace the present and go with the flow of the present rather than resisting the present and just seeing the beauty. So today I've had these two friends of mine from England rock up in Cape Town. Can we see you? We're in Cape Town for a week. And I went, yeah, sure. And I said, can we see you today? And it was like, I don't know. I've got this podcast to do with Gisele and I've got a few things I need to do. Okay, let's see you today. So just to embrace that. And we've had the most perfect day. They arrived and it was raining and the rain lifted and we've had the most beautiful sunny day. We went to a beach place. We hung out. I took them over a beautiful mountain pass here and we were looking over the ocean and the sun was perfect, glimmering on the sea, and we could see the butterflies and the birds and the flowers in the mountains, and it was just breathtaking to just be with it. But when you're busy and you're saying I can't do that and I'm busy and I don't think I can fit you in today, and by the way I've got to get my head down and do my emails, you miss those things. So being fully present is really important. And then the third part of the Trinity is the future. So we do need to think about the future. Where are we going? What are our future timelines? And it's my belief, and it is verified by quantum physics, quantum mechanics, that there are multiple timelines and multiple realities that we can choose. So which one are we going to collapse? It's collapsing the wave. Which wave are we going to collapse? So it's really about finding the timeline as you go forward in life that's in alignment with your heart, which is what you love, and your soul, which is what you've come here to be and who you really are. And but that soul has come here to learn something and also to contribute in some way in service. And we get lost in the maze of all these different timelines. And we get lost because we have conditioning, which tells us that we're not good enough, that tells us that we're not powerful, that we're too small, we don't have enough resources, we don't have the money, we're going to get laughed at, we'll be rejected, all of this stuff. Actually, these two friends I've been talking to, they do a lot of this work with children, working with thoughts with children, and they call those negative thoughts. They call that your crusher. They call it crusher, like a cartoon. It's crusher. It comes in and it crushes you. And it goes, no, you can't do that. You're not good enough for that. And it's crusher. And then they say the one that goes, oh, well done, you did a good job there, is booster. So I really love this crusher and booster. So thank you, Catherine. That's her work. But this is what happens to us. We've got different timelines. And those timelines are going to depend on whether we're operating with crusher or booster.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and also, even if you're operating with booster and you're going, well done, and doing it, you still might be going down the wrong path. So you've put your ladder against the wrong wall and you're climbing it diligently and you get to something, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. You know, like my daughter wanted to be an actor. She went to drama school, all sorts of things. And when she kind of got to the top, she went, actually, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. This isn't really what I want to do. I want to be creative. So sometimes that can happen. So the future is really important to be able to be on the right timeline. And it's a timeline of ascension. because we're going through this great awakening. So that timeline of ascension is going to be you healing stuff that's holding you back, letting go of the old paradigm, stepping into who you really are, and going with the timeline that allows you to use all of your gifts and talents and skills in service to the world. Because when we're all in service to the world, we all create this new world, because it's all different parts of the jigsaw. And guess what? The thing that is the right thing that you've come here to do is always the thing you love. You absolutely love it. So here I am. I've been yakking on without even letting you have a word in edgeways. Why? Because I love it. I love talking about my work. I love the work I do, and I love inspiring others. And those are my gifts, talents, and passions. So the third part of the bone circle is the future. So you've got past, present, and future, and we've also got mind, body, and spirit. So it's a completely balanced, I don't want teaching, I'm going to say, because the bone circle is more than that. There's also 3 aspects to it. So this is a very long answer. You did ask, Gisele. So I hope you're all still with me. But the bone circle is also 3 things. So first and foremost, and primarily, I suppose, it's a training program. It's actually quite a long program. There's 5 modules to it. And it takes you gently through these whole understandings. It's called the bone circle, by the way, because there are 18 bones. Now, your bones in your body form a structure, a framework that you hang your body on. And the bones of the bone circle create a framework that you create your life from. And those bones are truth bombs, or pearls of wisdom, and they're keys that unlock wisdom of the universe. And so they are the very first bone, for example, is love is the way. So you always go with love. You go for what would I love? What would love do? What would be the most loving thing I can do for myself? What would be the most loving thing I can do for the other person? What would I really love to make out of what would make my heart sing? What would make my soul sing? So that's the first bone, to give you an idea. So it's a training program that goes through 5 modules, and those 5 modules take you through each of those 18 bones and explain them, and also give you absolutely practical tools to use them and show you how they're all hooked together. So some of those things you might know already. So the second bone is that you're a creator, which you might know, and the third one is that you're powerful, which you might not know. And if you put those 3 together, it means that you're a powerful creator. So, and you can create what you love. So you're building on these bones, and you can take it as far or as deep or as wide or as shallow or as short as you like. So if you just want to do module 1, absolutely fine. If you want to go all the way to module 5, fabulous. You go to where you want to go, to the level you want to go. You take those tools and you use what works for you in your life. So if you go, I don't like that bone, I'm not going to work with it, or I don't particularly like that technique or that protocol, I'm not going to work with it, that's fine. But you're basically being guided constantly by your own intuition, which I would call is your inner tuition, your inner self that knows best, more than anybody else does. And you're being guided by that, and you're learning to not allow yourself to sabotage that. So it's a whole training that enables you to live and create your best life, the life you love, but also it's the life that's going to help you grow, that's going to grow your soul in the light, that's going to be fulfilling your mission and purpose, where you actually get to really, really nail and know your mission and purpose and create it and bring it into fruition. So that's what the training is, but it's also a way of life. So it becomes a way of life. So once you've done that, you don't need me. That's the trainer wheels come off and you're cycling down the hill. And once you've worked with me, you just work with all of the other people doing the training, because you've got a circle of people. So you work with your circle buddies, and what you do is you just continually, you can do intention groups with that, like Lynn McTaggart's Power of 8 intention group. You work intuitively with each other. You're there to back each other up. So if you think about Harry Potter, he can't do it on his own. He needs Ron and Hermione, doesn't he? And he needs Dumbledore, you know. So none of these heroes do it on their own. Frodo doesn't do it on his own, you know. Neo in the Matrix doesn't do it on his own. And you can't do it on your own either. And no man is an island. We are absolutely connected. I can only do this work by standing on the shoulders of giants, from the work that I've done with other people in the past and what I've learned, even with clients as a therapist. So we have each other, which is the third part. So the first part is it's a training. The second part is that it's a way of life once you've got that training, and you can use it as you want to use it in your own way. You'll be guided intuitively how to use it and what to do with it. And the third thing is that it's a community of like-minded people. So everybody that's done the training, you can work with them. So it's like a coaching circle, a mastermind circle, intention groups. And it becomes, because it's a way of life, you get to make really, really deep friendships with other people within the circle. And some of those might live down the road and some of them might live the other side of the world, but that's okay. So that is the humongously long answer to your question.
No, this is wonderful. It gives us a peek into something that is so unique, but it's so powerful. And I would really love for you to give me the link to the Bone Circle so that I can put it in the description below for everyone who wants to take a peek and see what it's really about and read up on it, because there is so many different layers and components to this training. It is amazing, everyone. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today. I am eternally grateful. And it's so lovely to see you again after all this
Thank you.
time.
Can I just say to people that I will put the website in, it's bridgetfinklaire.com, and there is a page, The Bone Circle. There will be at some point a new website coming up specifically for The Bone Circle. And I'm also in the process of writing a book, The Bone Circle. Now, publishing world, it takes a while to get things published, and I haven't finished writing it. So I would say wait at least a year and that will come out. But please go to my website and get on my mailing list, and I can then tell you more information about what's happening with the book and the trainings.
Sounds fantastic.
Get
Thank
on my
you so much.
So thank you.
I think that's fantastic news that you're writing a book about it. Congratulations. I had no idea. This is awesome news. And I think it'll help people when they take the training to have the book as well as a beautiful guide to go through it together, you know, in tandem. So that's fantastic. Bridget, I'm so grateful that you came on the show to share this beautiful, beautiful practice and training with all of us. I'm very grateful that you had time to come out of your busy schedule and share it with us. Thank you.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Gisele.
Well, we'll have to have you again on the show at a later date. And until then, everyone, thank you for coming, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.
Bye.